Hello, welcome to White Birch Tarot and Astrology. I'm doing a pick a deck romance slash relationship reading for for the next few days. This is just barely Wednesday, March 4th. I apologize for my voice. I wasn't going to do this tonight, and then it just sort of happened. It just sort of happened. I started looking at the astrology, and would you believe there are like seven seven things happening in the sky in between now and the 8th. So that's only, 4 days, like 4 or 5 days. And 4 out of 7 of them involve the planet Venus. So I said to myself, this might be a good time to do a relationship reading. And I decided to do a pick a deck because people seem to like that. And that way I can, deliver different messages to different people. And so I'm going to quickly talk about the astrology for those who are interested, and then I will timestamp if you just want to. I hope this doesn't mess things up to, when you're to choose the deck. I decided to pull the Empress card from 3 different decks. So, obviously that's the Welsh deck, the Llewellyn, that's the Wild Unknown by Kim Krans, and that's the Mythic Tarot by Liz Green. And, I hope by me talking, it's not going to mess you up and I realize, like, when there's a really bright card, it stands out. I learned that in Biology 101. I remember natural selection, and it was like the bugs that were the whitest and the brightest got eaten the first. I mean, that's kind of common sense. But anyway, hopefully you'll be drawn to a certain one. And these are very, very interesting readings, and they're all vaguely similar and yet different. So anyway, I'm just going to quickly talk about the astrology, and I apologize for my voice. I really wasn't going to do this tonight, and I just felt like I needed to. I don't know. So today, I didn't write down the times, but on the 4th of March, Venus is in a good aspect with Uranus. Venus is at 27 degrees of Pisces, so she's exalted. She loves to be in Pisces because Pisces rules unconditional love, and Venus is all about love. So this is where she can be a channel for love, and she can put others ahead of herself, and it's just, we are all one, and it's a beautiful, beautiful placement for her. The negative side is that she can sometimes be too self-sacrificing in Pisces and always put people ahead of herself to her own self-detriment. So there's that. And then Uranus, as I said, she's in conversation, a sextile 60 degrees with Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus. Now, Taurus is an earth sign, and it rules, what we have. It rules sensuality, money, what we possess, including our self-worth. So there's that. And when Uranus is there, when Venus is connecting with Uranus, there's a change in a very real way. There can be a change in your outer circumstances. And again, I'm doing this for relationships. Could be romantic if you're not interested in romantic. It could be whatever else, some other important relationship in your life. But there's a change. The change could just now be happening, or you could just be realizing the change. But I feel like since Uranus is in Taurus, the change is really happening. And, that can be positive. That can be, it's a sextile, so it's usually positive. But sometimes, change can be difficult. We'll just say that. And I will post again because, like I said, on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, there's more stuff coming up. Venus herself on the 6th moves into the sign of Aries, where she stays for the entire month of March, the month of Marth. And then, of course, while she's there, as soon as she moves in, pretty much she's going to be conjunct Neptune and then Saturn. Excuse me, I hope I don't lose my voice. So anywho, this one is about the change, coping with the change. What are we learning? What's changing? How does that affect us? I'm doing the cross of truth. So if you haven't already, choose one of these that speaks to you. Perhaps more than one will speak to you. They're interesting, to say the least. I'm going to start with the Llewellyn Tarot, which is the Welsh, that's hard, I can't talk tonight, Welsh mythology. I'm going to blame it on Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Okay, so I put these backwards, so I don't know how dust keeps getting all over. Apparently that's why people keep their cards in boxes, and I do not. But I have a towel over them, but apparently that's not enough. Okay, so let me just lay these out, and then I will get into the reading. Oh, I got to put out the time here. It's about, call it 5. I don't know. Okay. Where do you go? I'm running out of room. Pardon me. And of course, this is Rhiannon. And I have been listening to the song Rhiannon by Stevie Nicks just over and over lately. And she's probably my favorite. I have to say I have 5 favorite female singers, because I can never pick a favorite anything, because I love music and everything so much. But anyway, I can't get this last one in, but I'll show you. But that's one of those songs. It was the first song I ever heard. I never had heard of her before. I remember where I was when I heard that song come on the radio, and I was like, oh my God, who is that? I was already a Fleetwood Mac fan, but I guess I was out of touch for a while. I didn't know they had some new members, because I was just back in the Bob Welch days. Anyway, that song just like bam. I just love that song. Anyway, okay, so this is Across the Truth. So I said, what's this energy doing to you right at the moment? Where are you right now? And I get the 5 of Cups, sorrow and regret. This is not what I expected. I will say that Venus in Pisces is very sensitive, very tuned in. And at the last degrees of the last sign of the zodiac, there is that karmic feeling that we've been talking about. And she's getting ready to meet up with, Saturn and Neptune, who just moved out of the last degrees of Pisces. So there's some summing up here, and there's some looking back to the past, and you could be feeling some sorrow over past relationships that are over because the person passed away. Maybe you left, maybe they left you, maybe you did something you wish you hadn't done, or whatever. Okay, so it gets better, don't worry. Then I said, what do you need to move away from, or what are you moving away from? And I get the Sun. And that threw me for a minute. I think I have it now, but I had to think about this one. I think what it's saying, and this is based on the context of the other cards, I think what it's saying is that it's time to, 2 things. This is not a time to clarify. We have all this Pisces energy going on. If you're looking for clarity, I'm picturing like someone outlining something in bright red crayon where there's a beginning and an ending and it's definite. You're not going to get that, because it's more nuanced than that. And I'm also getting, it's not time to be in immature relationships. It's time to level up and let the childish notions of romance or relationships go. We're moving to another level here, if that makes any sense, I hope. Because look what's in front. I said, what are you moving toward? I say we, because I don't know which one I would have chosen, but you get the 10 of Cups. So this is your heart's desire. This is having it all on an emotional level. So you're going from the 5 to the 10. You're doubling up to the 10. So there's something good coming from this. This is a change for the better. It might not feel like it right now, but it is. Let it settle in. So if you move away from needing the clarity and the maybe not so much dashing romance, and maybe just mature a little bit, I'm not telling you to be mature, but I'm saying look for maturity in your relationships. You can be emotionally fulfilled. Okay, I'll take that. And then I said, what is the challenge? What is this based on? The King of Cups. Okay, he is the he's the patriarch of the cups are emotions. So in a way, he kind of reminds me of Neptune. He's the wounded healer, but he's the one who can heal others. So this is about healing wounds in relationships. It could have a little bit to do with father energy. That's possible, especially if your father was Neptunian, which means emotionally absent, perhaps even alcoholic, perhaps gone, perhaps hard to get hold of, perhaps absent on an emotional level, or perhaps emotionally wounded. But this is your energy, I think. But again, we pick up our parents' energy. But this is, where have you been wounded? How far have you come in your healing process? It's time to manifest the healing that you've achieved on a physical level. So it's time to take the emotional healing, the emotional wounds, and don't sit there in the regret about them, but turn them into your desires. When Venus is in Neptune, she's in touch with what her heart of heart wants. So this is very interesting. So this is based on some kind of emotional healing that you either have been doing, need to do, and perhaps you're working on it, and perhaps you've made some progress, because then I said, what's the blessing in this? The Four of Wands. Oh my God, this is moving to a whole new level. So we get the Ten of Cups, emotional fulfillment, and then we get the spiritual, the actual action of getting to move to a new level in a relationship where it becomes solid. It's like just goes up. Like, okay, we're at step 1, now we're at step 4 here. We have a solid foundation. We are happy. We are, it's just a whole new level. You step through the doorway and you're in another dimension, it feels like. That's what the Four of Wands is, the 1111 card. You've moved into a new dimension. It's no longer just child's play. It's no longer just a romantic thing. It's real. It's very real in every sense of the word, I think, especially emotionally. This is about emotional healing and emotional fulfillment, but there's an aspect of it being, just bumping you to a whole new level, but especially emotionally. Okay. I don't think I'm going to bother with oracle cards tonight. Not that they're a bother, but I think these readings are I thought they were really powerful tonight. So I'm going to call that one. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I will timestamp. Okay. That didn't seem like 7 minutes. I was probably talking about something else. Okay, thank you. I should call that deck number 1, I guess. So I will call this deck number 2. If you chose the Wild Unknown Kim Krans with this Empress card, my deck that's infamous for sticking together. Oh gosh, look at the dust. I apologize. Okay, anyway. We will move to the Cross of Truth here. And this one had 2 cards that came out. And if you watch the first reading, if you watch deck number 1, you are going to see some similarities here. This is really weird. I don't have quite enough room on the table. Okay. Okay, so if you chose this one, well, of course you did, or you wouldn't be sitting here watching it. Okay. This is you. Now, spoiler alert, there was a 5 in the first reading. 5 of Swords here. This is having words with people, feeling disconnected, communication isn't going well. There can be some arguments. It can hurt. This is not great energy right now. So, but that's okay, because the rest of the reading is very good, I think. So, and there's so many similarities between this and the reading the first one, the Welsh, it's astounding. Anyway, so this is where you're at right now. You're feeling disconnected, especially from others, because this is a romance relationship reading. and there may have been words. You're just feeling like you're out of step, especially with communications and things. People are saying things that are hurting your feelings, whatever. Okay, what do you need to move away from? What are you leaving behind? And I get the Magician. Here's more masculine energy we're moving out of. So this is telling you not to try to be in control, not to, I was not going to say, it's not the time for like action, or, it's not so much about choosing right now. It's not about trying to be in control or manifesting something. That's not quite what it's about. And yet there's some manifesting going on, but I think it's coming to you rather than you creating it. You're not the creator here. But I'll show you. This is a tricky reading. I'll show you when we get to the other cards. I may have to revise that statement. But the cards we're leaving, the energy we're leaving behind tonight in these decks is really weird. Okay, what's in front of you? The 10. The 10 of Pentacles. So again, we move from a 5 to a 10, as we did in the last reading. It's not the same. It's not, we did go to, oh my God, the 10 of Swords is up here. I got 2 for the top. Okay, we did go from the 5 to the 10 again. You got 2 10s. Okay, what's in front of you? Actual manifesting, like reality. Something is fulfilled on a very real level. Pentacles are money, energy, something that you can touch and hold. It's also self-worth, but no, that's the Taurus energy, sorry, where Uranus is. Well, Pentacles can be a little bit about self-worth, but this is something tangible that is fulfilling. Like, you get what you want, you get what you need. It's a fulfillment on a very real level. So whatever changes when Venus, has this aspect to Uranus, there's a change in your favor, and something very lucky happens. And it's something that you didn't necessarily work for, and you didn't cause. It's just there. Then I said, what is the challenge? What's this based on? I get the Sun, which also appeared in the last reading. And I thought, okay, so the challenge is the Sun. So the Sun represents creativity. It represents the inner child, play. It can also represent your sense of self. Like, who are you at your core? What makes your heart beat? What's your purpose? What are you here for? It's a very powerful card. So this is all having to do with who you are, what you came here to do, and your purpose, and what lights your fire. And again, since the Magician is behind, I'm thinking it's less about like the day-to-day. Yes, you get the day-to-day, but you didn't cause it, if that makes any sense. It's almost like divine will, like, this was what you were meant to come here for. And again, this is for relationships / romance. This is what you were meant to come here for. You came here for this certain purpose, and it shows up regardless of what you are. Don't try too hard. You don't need to. But then these two came out together, as this deck is wont to do, but I think they were meant to be here. That's gruesome, I know. But it's very similar. Look at the 5. Okay, the 5, we have the worm cut in half. Here we've got worm and entrails and a tusk or a tooth or something and eyeballs. This is just all chopped to hell. I mean, this is, Oh, is that a pincher with, like, teeth? Looks like a crab pincher. I don't know. Anyway, something... Now, this is your blessing. These 2 cards on top... Where did I put? This is your blessing. This is like, how does this aspect of, what the sudden change coming in with Venus and Uranus, what does it bring to you that's positive? and we get something ends. So perhaps this is the end of this argument energy, this battling, which could be going on not only between you and other people, but maybe inside your own head. Maybe it's finally put to rest. It's like, you know what? The battle's over. Whatever this thing was I've been struggling with, I'm done. I'm done. And we get justice with it. That's very interesting. Now, in this deck, justice is about making a choice. But I can't help but see justice, of course, as being karmic, which is generally out of our control, although, you know, we always have the element of choice. Because if we don't make the choices, what's meant for us can't really come to us. We have to remain open. Sometimes we have to listen to our intuition and do what it tells us to do. You know, we're driving the car, even though hopefully we're tuned into a divine navigation system so we know which choices to make. But this resolves itself with some balance, with some choices that pan out and create something good. And again, it's not about you feeling like you have to create everything. You simply have to be open, and perhaps you're being called upon to make a choice. And maybe the choice is to stop the battle and stop trying to control and just let it go. Just let it be over, you know? Just stop the mental agony of whatever it is you've been thinking about or worrying about, and just rely on the fact that there's something solid ahead of you to rely on, and you will get your just desserts. And I mean that in a good way. Okay, I hope that makes sense. These are really interesting readings tonight. Very, very interesting. Okay, so let me write down the time here. I seem to be ending on 55s. Okay, thank you for Wild Unknown People, deck number 2. And I'm going to now do the Liz Green. If you chose this Empress, Liz Green Mythic Tarot. Oh yeah, this, oh my God. Look at the dust. This is ridiculous. I apologize for the dust. These cards are so long that they're difficult. And if you watch all of these readings, you are going to see a lot of similarity. This is really, really interesting how this worked out. Whoops. I had to clarify because I was like, what? Okay. There's not really room here, so I'm going to stand her up. Okay. This is the High Priestess, by the way, but okay, one by one. Okay, as I said at the beginning, if you didn't listen to the astrology, now this is the Cross of Truth. So this is the energy you're in right now. I did mention that Venus is in Pisces, and that she's exalted in Pisces. It's wonderful, channeling divine love and putting other people first, but there is an element of self-sacrifice. Now, we get the Hanged Man. So you feel like you're stuck, and you also feel like you're being sacrificed. This can be voluntary sacrifice, where you are putting others ahead of yourself because you choose to. And it can also be feeling like you're always being asked to, and you could possibly be getting tired of it. There's always that aspect. But that's the energy that you're in right now. Then I said, or the situation, this is romance/relationships. Then I said, what do you need to leave behind? And, spoiler alert, someone else got this behind. You're leaving behind the Magician. So you are letting go of, if you notice, he's channeling the divine energy down here. You're tired of channeling to others. And also, this is about letting go of the need to control and feeling like you have to create everything. You don't, apparently, because this is behind us. So it's time to perhaps sit a little more quietly and stop doing and stop trying to make things happen, because that's not what the cards want you to do right now. Even though you might feel stuck, like you need to get, I need to get out of this. Not that way. Okay, then I said, what are you moving toward? And I got the Four of Cups, which honestly stumped me, which is why I pulled a clarifier. But I think what it's saying is, there's a lot going on here. You got, let's see, there's 6 cards. You got 4 out of 6 major arcana. Yeah. So I think what this is saying is what you need to move into right now is you need to regain some emotional neutral. There's a lot going on for you. There's a lot of feeling. There's a lot of helping others. There's a lot of self-sacrifice, and it can feel overwhelming. And I think this is telling you to perhaps try to just, if you can, meditate or, just let the cups settle for a while. Let the emotions settle. It's just a lot right now. So just take a little break and try to regain some emotional neutral, because you've been through a lot. I can feel that. And then I clarified it. I said, so, why move toward that? The King of Pentacles, because you need some stability. Venus in Pisces is very, very emotional and empathic, but that can be tiring. So you need to take a break and you need to ground yourself. And this could be someone around you, but I think it might be you. But either way, it's get in touch with something solid that you can, that you can ground yourself with. Again, not trying to manifest, you're making your dreams come true, but just doing what's in front of you and appreciating what you have and being solid and reliable to yourself and enjoying what you have. Go for a walk, whatever grounds you. That's important right now. And then I said, what is all this based on? What's the challenge? We get the Hierophant, which again is similar to one of the other readings which got the King of Cups here, the Wounded Healer. This is about healing old wounds and, relationship wounds. And this is where you've been healed, where you are healing, where you need to heal. That's the challenge. And you're not going to do it by, trying to control everything. You're not going to do it with self-sacrifice, but you can do it if you're more grounded and, just try to hold on to what you've got and be, like I said, emotionally stable if you can. But this is very important that you let yourself heal. And again, this reading is about Venus sextiling Uranus, so you could have a change. This can change things on a very real level if you let it. Let something heal. Get in touch with that. And how do you get in touch with it? Well, here's your blessing, the High Priestess. It's so interesting that she shows up because I'm in a Tuesday night spiritual book club thing, and we're reading this book called Traveling with Pomegranates by Sue Monk Kidd. It's a great book. And we were talking about, she's talking about the Persephone Demeter myth, and I actually got my cards out, and I'm the only tarot reader in the group, and I showed them this card because we were talking about Persephone, and I just love this picture. And then I draw her, so I wasn't surprised. She's been on my mind. But anyway, this is you. Your divine gift right now, your gift, whatever you want to call it, your blessing, is that you can get in touch with your own self-conscious, subconscious. And that can be life-changing for you. There's something that wants to show itself to you. You need to go into the depths. Maybe that's why you have the Four of Cups. You need to still your emotions, go into the depths of your intuition, your subconscious, and see what's there. There's a message for you. There's some wisdom for you that will heal you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Please leave me a comment and let me know if it does make sense, what you think of the reading or readings if you watched more than one. And please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. I forgot to say that to the other decks, but people know that, I think. And just let me know what you thought about this energy. So thank you for listening, and blessings, everyone. Good night.